am I in this endless virtual world? Am I defined by true self or by the image others create of me? Imagine this: you put your soul into a perfectly edited photo and millions of virtual eyes judge it with likes. Right from the start, we want to understand where is the real personality and where is just the mask.
So what is personality? The word personality comes from the Latin word persona. At first it means a mask worn by actors in ancient theater. Over time it came to mean not just a person, but their inner wholeness and their ability to make conscious choices. Unlike the word individual, which means just one human being, personality is about how our inner world shows in our actions. It's not just biological, it's social and spiritual. A personality can think, be aware of itself, and connect with others. In philosophy, personality is seen as a process. George Herbert Mead viewed personality as the result of their social interaction and internal dialogue, emphasizing the process of self-awareness and development throughout communication. We are not born as full personalities, we became them throughout life.
Now, let's see how has personality changed in the digital age. The appearance of cyberspace was a turning point in our history. It created a new global space for communication and connection. Cyberspace is more than just the internet and computers. It's a different world of communication ruled by digital text and pixels. In this world, we have a freedom like never before. We don't see other person, we don't know their age, gender, job or social background. The internet becomes a sandbox of roles and identities. We can wear any social mask, be anyone we want. But this also brings a new reality of personality. As researcher Stanko points out, the only real form of personality in cyberspace is the one we show to others, our self-presentation. That's what becomes our digital self. Self-presentation is how we choose to show ourselves through text, photos and videos. We build an image of us, and through that we learn about ourselves again.
Digital self and online masks. The internet has become a kind of social lab. As Sherry Turkle, American sociologist, wrote, it lets us create and recreate ourselves. We learn how to control the impression we give others. Even earlier, Erving Goffman, considered by some the most influential American sociologist of the 20th century, talked about this. He said communication is like theater, where people play roles and use props to make an impression. Building on this idea of performance, there is another important concept: narrative identity. While Goffman focused on how we present ourselves in social interactions, narrative identity looks deeper at how each person constructs the story of their own life.
Online, we build the story throughout texts, comments and posts. We shape ourselves with the word. So we get two versions of self. Explicit self, self for myself, how I see and know myself, and implicit self, self for others, how others see me in the network. If we are honest online, these two versions match, but when we choose to hide parts of ourselves or even share false information, we create a self that only exists for others to see. In this case, our network identity becomes a mask, only part of the truth.
We can be anyone, change our story, our look, our identity. As Sherry Turkle says, online the self is always changing. Many limits disappear. Age, status, background, they are no longer matter. We can share dreams, fears and thoughts. Emojis, stories and anonymity help us open up. But inside this freedom hides a trap. Social media turns life into a stage. We stop being ourselves. We start playing the perfect version of ourselves. We want likes and approval. We choose photos and words to be liked. The result? Not a real person, but a neat product. And behind the perfect image may be emptiness, insecurity or anxiety. Philosopher Jean Baudrillard said we live in a simulated reality. In social media, this is very clear. The virtual starts to feel more real than the real life.
Online, we can take on roles that we can't in daily life. It's a space for experiments. We absorb the rules, goals, and values of certain online communities like a sponge. Sometimes these online norms are very different from those in the offline world, and they change the way we think and act. This is called virtual sociality, a new kind of social interaction. It's similar to real life, but not the same. It can influence how we build relationships outside the internet too. Some people continue their online roles even offline. But these online ties are often impersonal and short-lived. They can open doors or they can be shallow and risky.
Today, image is everything. A pretty photo matters more than a real moment. Our posts become products. We use filters, edit carefully and build a style. The more polished the image, the harder it is to find the person behind it. From an aesthetic perspective, perfect photos and carefully crafted images become a new form of beauty, artificial yet desirable. Visual appeal is valued more than being real, and aesthetics sell emotions by turning them into style. From a utilitarian point of view, every post becomes a means to an end. Approval, admiration, attention. A person's worth starts being measured by audience reaction. Since beauty is subordinated to usefulness, it exists for the sake of effectiveness. In this conflict, the true self is lost, replaced by a convenient and attractive version.
So, who makes us who we are? Ourselves or how others see us? Maybe the answer lies in the dialogue between two versions of self. On one hand, we can choose to be ourselves and show who we truly are. On the other hand, we can pretend to be the person others want to see. But if all we care about is pleasing others, we risk losing what's real. Social media is a mirror. Sometimes it distorts, but if we look closely, it can also show the truth.